Bonjour! That's about as much as my French will actually go. But good evening, everyone. Welcome to League of Europe here for Division 1 action. It is Season 5, Round 8 of the Championship as we take in the French Grand Prix from the Circuit Paul Ricard. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as always, and joining me in the commentary box, it is Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how you doing?
I'm excited as always for this French Grand Prix circuit that I really love both driving and commentating on. It does make for some pretty decent racing. There's quite a competitive grid, of course, in this one tonight, and they're going to have a brilliant race. I raced here on PC last night, P11, so it wasn't really a great race, but yeah, hopefully these guys have they'll go a little bit quicker than I did.
Yeah, hopefully they will. Hopefully they will. I mean, PC and PS4, there's like no comparison in terms of pace, to be honest. But we'll see how all of the drivers get on out on track. M Short coming into tonight, leading the way on 99 points. Taking the win last time out, of course, was Alphatrix. Finishing second was Zhao Zhao. Finishing third was Verstappen. What did that do to the standings? Well, M Short, as I've just said, leading on 99 points coming into tonight. Still the championship leader, but getting hunted down by the both racing points. D. Daniel in second on 77. Montana in third on 68 points. Believe it or not, Montana got only outscored by M Short by a point last week. Montana did not pick up any points. Verstappen in 4th on 66, with Alphatrix in 5th on 58. Zhao Zhao in 6th on 55, with Campbell in 7th on 45. Lando in 8th on 43, Justas in 9th on 37, Neo in 10th on 34, and then Connor, Hardy, Name Changer, Vaporizer, and Rocco rounding off the top 15. Kazizel, Ewan, Toxic, not racing tonight, Toxic, Kuhnblai, Kuki, and Chapley, the rest of the point scorers out on track tonight. And coming into tonight, obviously, M Short holding a 22-point advantage coming into tonight. D. Daniel's only 9 points ahead of Montana as well. It could be quite an interesting fight, especially around a track that promotes a lot of overtaking.
Yeah, of course, Montana not scoring in Australia was a saving grace that M Short didn't have a really good Grand Prix either. He finished 12th position, only netting 1 point to his name. So these two could lock horns in France tonight. With D. Daniel as well, and Alphatrix, who might finally have caught his mojo. He's really starting to pick up performances. He got a podium in China, he got second position, he finally picked up the win in Australia. We've got two new drivers tonight. One we have, well, at least I've definitely seen before, it's Bullet Boy. He's filling in for one of the AlphaTauri drivers. That's either Chapelet or it is
Kazizel, I think.
It's Kazizel. It's neither of them that are in the lobby at the moment, so we'll see which one it is actually who will join. And then we've got someone I've never seen before. It's fake Jules Bream. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah, Jules Bream I have never seen before in my life either. He's replacing Toxic, and that's about as much as we can tell you about him out on track. But he is a brand new reserve. Bullet Boy, of course, very familiar name here in the AlphaTauri. I believe Kazizel is not racing, so that might be why he is in the AlphaTauri. Chappellelli should be. He's probably just trying to get a little bit of practice in and trying not to bottle like he does week upon week. Nolan, by the way, has also made a couple of predictions in the comments section saying Alphatrix wins, Lando gets 15 seconds worth plus of penalties, and Zhao Zhao gets a podium. So those are his 3 predictions.
The second one, for some drivers, it could come true. I'm not specifically saying it's Lando that will get those penalties, but it is very easy to run just a slight bit wide or really just cut the corner ever so slightly around this circuit. A lot of high-speed corners, of course, so they do sometimes turn in a little bit too sharp and then get a warning. I know someone last night got about 25 seconds somewhat of penalties, so it is certainly a possibility. They will have to keep note of that. Zhao Zhao on the podium, you know what, I also think that could be a prediction that comes true. He's had some pretty decent races in the last couple of weeks, P3 in China and then P2 in Australia, where he was really taking the fight to Alphatrix until the dry hit, which it completely changed the entire complexion of the Grand Prix. So we'll just have to see. We've approached 6:40, so we should be getting underway very soon.
Yeah, Verstappen's just mentioned in Discord we're waiting on Alphatrix and Kuki Games. Kuki Games has joined. We've just seen a driver leave, actually, out on within the lobby here. Don't know who that is. Hopefully he will join.
Bullet Boy.
Bullet Boy, maybe his connection not being as strong as what he hopes it to be. I know that has been a worry with him in the past. Lando as well, his connection is always on a 1 bar, but at least he's in the lobby rather than Bullet Boy. We are just waiting on Alpha Trix, hopefully to join any second. But what I can do is run you through the constructor standings. Racing Point leading, not really by commanding advantage. It's only 12 points over McLaren, 145 points for Racing Point, 133 for McLaren in second. Renault's not too far off either on 111 in third. Alfa Romeo fourth on 86, Red Bull fifth on 84, Mercedes sixth on 66, Williams in seventh on 39, then Ferrari in eighth on 29, Haas in ninth on 26, and AlphaTauri in 10th on 17 points. Racing Point took less points than McLaren last time out. Renault had a really good week. Red Bull had a really good week last week, of course, in Australia. But McLaren only scoring 3 points over Racing Point. That would be a little bit concerning for me.
Yeah, of course. M Short did get caught out by the intermediate to dry conditions. Sorry, he stayed out on a set of intermediates, and that ultimately costed him in the end. He ended up picking a puncture on the final lap, but his teammate did come in and take some points. Neo, who has scored in every single race, he sits in 10th on the standings. He took 12 points last time out, which, if I'm not mistaken, is P4. So he was very close to the podium in the end. And just a quick note on Bullet Boy, his PS4 was actually overheating, and then it turned off by itself. So that's why he's not in the lobby. Some drivers are flashing ready up to say, you know what, we want to get going. But I think we will be waiting for these guys. We've only got 17 drivers in at the moment, so we'll get Alpha Trix in, and then one of the Alpha Tauris. I think we might be on only 19 tonight.
Yeah, 19 drivers is still a very good attendance, though. Yulbrim, of course, is a very interesting driver to look at, and we'll come on to him in, hopefully, when we get in towards qualifying and see how he gets on out on track. But France, of course, Circuit Paul Ricard, very interesting track for these drivers to go around. Normally a testing track, but here for the French Grand Prix, 5.8 kilometres in length, 3.6 miles according to my track map to the right hand side. The first inauguration on this track, of course, at Paul Ricard, was 2018 Hamilton. And Hamilton again won in 2019. Of course, we didn't go there in 2020 because of the pandemic. But before that, Alain Prost, a certain Alain Prost, a former 3-time champion, of course, in Formula 1. I might have said that wrong, I'm not sure. But Alain Prost, 4-time winner before going into the racing. Before, obviously went to Magny-Cours, and then Magny-Cours went off the calendar. And then we had Hamilton dominate the last 2 renewals of the Grand Prix. But France is one of those tracks. It's quite modern. 15 turns separating the drivers out on track, and hopefully it's going to provide some good action out on track.
Yeah, some of these is a bit of a hit and miss for the drivers, I've found, as to whether they like it or not. Some drivers really love it and some really hate it. Personally, I really like it. It's got good flow. Sometimes there are places where it is tricky to have a good battle, especially in the third sector, where it's very you have to feather the throttle a lot through that sector, and it's really awkward to get it absolutely perfect. So it is going to be difficult to have some overtakes, but you've got to think, coming into Chicane Nord, that is going to be one of the most easy places to overtake, I'd say. It's just in the end of the very, very long Mistral straight, and then of course they go into the left-hander, and we could see some ambitious dive bombs from the drivers tonight.
I love the comment from Matthias in the comment section. How to pronounce Yulbrim, you put, and then he's just put that guy. Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. Anyways, we all better get going. It looks like Bullet Boy has joined. Alpha Trix doesn't look like he's racing here tonight. Obviously a bit of a failed attendance from him. I don't think he notified anyone of him not attending. He could rejoin in the lobby and it could mess things up slightly. M. Short was worried about that coming into tonight. George Morgan coming into the comment section as well, saying, evening folks. Evening George, hope you're doing well. And Stephen as well coming on and saying good luck to all FRL drivers tonight, past and present, and a special good luck to our esports driver SAH_name changer, of course. Name changer, of course, being their current champion, I believe, in Tier 1. I used to commentate on FRL back in the day, so I still follow the action from time to time. But anyways, back to France and back to qualifying, and here we go. 17 drivers, it looks like, about to do battle out on track, and this is one of those tracks where if you invalidate your lap, you really have not got a chance to try and get another one in.
Yeah, of course, it is really, it's quite a long circuit. I'm probably expecting pole time to be around about the mid to high 26s, I certainly think that is where the drivers can put the cars, but it's a pretty long circuit, so you'd be best not to invalidate on your laps because it is a long way to get back into the pits. Just a quick note on Alphatrix, he says, not sure if I can make it by 6:40, any chance I could join in quali, and he's gone, I'm like 10-15 minutes away, probably make it for the end of qualifying. So Alphatrix looking like he's on the back foot here.
Oh my
and wow,
God!
look at that!
Good God Almighty! It's wet qualifying. I think this is the first wet qualifying of the season, if I'm not mistaken, and everyone looks like they're going to go on full wets. But looking at some of the guys, Kuki Games, Verstappen, and Campbell are going on inters. I wonder if maybe the scenario out on track may be that wets might be quicker, but inters are going to get quicker during the qualifying session. So I wonder if Kuki Games, Verstappen and Campbell are going to try and get a few more laps out on track compared to the guys on a set of wets, because of course the inters can dispose of 25 litres of water out on track. Wets can dispose of 75 litres out on track, and it's going to be fascinating to see. Kuki Games is going to be one of the first to leave the pit lane, but however, I think Verstappen and Campbell is going to be the first to leave as well. Verstappen is out first.
Yep, two Renaults coming out in tandem, both of them on the intermediate compound of tyres. It seems like everyone is immediately going onto that set, so maybe that is a hint that they, even on the MFD, that there could be a little bit of drying up towards the end and they just want to put some wear on the intermediate tyres, but it is absolutely bucketing it down on the circuit. These guys are going to struggle just to get by on their outlaps here, let alone put in a fast run. Normally you'd be accelerating, going up through the gears on board with Verstappen, of course. You'd be pretty much flat out through that corner, but he's had to feather the throttle loads and really be so tedious and careful with it. So it's going to be very tricky in these wet conditions to absolutely nail a lap. But yeah, if anyone in League of Europe can, it's going to be the guys in Division 1.
It will be the guys in Division 1, and you never know, this could be actually quite a widely sparse qualifying session. 16 minutes ago, if you are just tuning in, like TDB has tuned in to the wrong stream, we have not missed any of the action. We're just about to begin here in Division 1 in qualifying around Circuit Paul Ricard, a very wet Circuit Paul Ricard. I'm very glad we're commentating remotely, to be honest. It is very dry up here in the north of England, and Verstappen now comes through turn 12, and now in towards turn... No, oh, sorry, this is turn 12, that was through turn 11. Now through turn 12, already getting mixed up with my corners. So now he comes through turn 12 and on the run towards 13, 14 and 15 out on track, and he is going to be the first man to set us onto a lap. He's on a set of intermediate compound tyres, and looking at him and Campbell, who are going to be the first two to set a lap, they are looking to try and get a very good lap in here. As now we've got a yellow flag in sector 3, that's just everyone slowing down. Verstappen though comes across the line now to start us off on a lap. A longer run down, of course, in towards turn 1 these days at Paul Ricard, and now he brakes in towards turn 1 and then through turn 2. Sun trying to gleam through the clouds there in a very wet qualifying session. He now comes out of turn 2 and then on the run down towards turn 3. Normally he can take it pretty much in 4th gear. He manages to do that, but he's going to have to down into low 2nd and then into 3rd gear coming out of this corner. And actually, screw that, he goes 3rd and then 4th. 25.7 through the first sector for Verstappen, as now he comes through the infamous turn 7 where he can really spin the car. He's trying to avoid the curbs as much as possible because of course these curbs are going to be very lethal out on track. Verstappen now then on a lap. He now comes down in towards chicane node, down the Mistral straight. The first half of the Mistral straight gets the car turned in. You can hardly see the curbs riding on board with him, but nicely done through the chicane node, and now the second half of the Mistral straight. So now up towards turn 10 and then that flat 180 degree corner through turn 11 to 56.6 through the middle sector from Verstappen. As he now comes through turn 10, turn 11, goodness me, nearly lost it coming through there. Campbell nearly did the same thing in behind, but Verstappen on a good lap here currently. I've just realised, by the way, that I haven't got the fitted tyres showing. There we are, Campbell on a lap, Verstappen on a lap, mainly everyone on a set of inters. Few on the wet, Fake Yulbream, Name Changer, Bullet Boy, Jow Jow all there on an out lap. Currently as well, Connor on her inters, but Verstappen now coming around the final couple of corners. Let's see how the Renault is going to do. He's out the final corner, and now Verstappen to the line. It's a very long run toward the line here. It's going to be about a 142, I think, from Verstappen. Comes across the line, a 142.1. Something that I actually get right for once, as Campbell goes 3/10 off him.
Yeah, you can't really fault the pair of them, and Justus goes right to the top. We've been pronouncing his name wrong for the entire time, so we'll do our best to correct that. But Cookie Games, I believe he actually validated on his run, and he's now started up another lap as Cohen Bly not on the best run there. On a set of wet tyres. How about that one from Zhao Zhao? 41.5. Seems like the intermediates aren't the best tyres at the moment, but I assume that these guys are going to be fitting on, running a little bit higher fuel. They'll be pushing for a longer period of time. Montana's just about to cross the line, and he goes into 4th position. So it seems like clearly at the moment, the blue wool wet tyres are supreme here.
Yeah, Yildirim coming through the final couple of corners out on track. Let's see where he's going to go in relation to a 141.4 from Zhao Zhao. 0.5 of a second, it's not that much in terms of the crossover period, to be honest, at this stage. Yildirim now comes across the line, and he'll sell himself up into 4th with 142.118. Also on a set of wets is Name Changer coming out the final corner, as now he runs toward the line, and the Fane will be hoping for a very good result here. He hasn't had the great deal of things here in Division 1. Comes across the line, well, 142.7 on a set of wet compound tyres. Bullet Boy also got a lap in on a 158.2, but early on, Zhao Zhao, the king of the wets, it seems on top, but D. Daniel slots himself into 2nd with a 141.8, and it's only 0.3 really, I think, between the crossover period.
Yeah, if you really actually just go on board with a driver, you can see there's a bit of a darker patch. That's where all the drivers are displacing the water. They're getting rid of that nice sleek sheen that is laid on by the wet, which I really do love looking at when it's fresh out of the box. But Cookie Games about to cross the line here. Of course, he validated his first run. We'll see where he puts the car, and he goes into 9th position, just ahead of Name Changer, who put his lap in that wet. He actually spun coming out of the first corner. I believe turn number 2. He spun coming out of there. So
Well, I'll tell you what,
probably struggling.
I think M. Short's on a really good lap here. Comes across the line. Is he going to go top? No, just shy. 141.6, and he goes 2nd. Very good lap time there from M. Short, but there's the king, Montana, to the top, a 141.2, ahead of Zhao Zhao. Seems like everyone is going out for 2-3 laps out on track, which is not too discommon, actually, in qualifying around here in France. But Montana out on top, Zhao Zhao 2nd, M. Short in 3rd. Saying that, D. Daniel has just popped himself up to make it a racing .12.
Yeah, we'll begin to see the times pretty much come rapidly down towards the end of the session, and all the drivers really are finding their improvements. Normally the sweet spot for a wet set of tyres is around about 2 to 3 laps. Montana's still going for another push lap here because he's about 0.2 up through the first sector. We can see the rain hasn't let up too much, but the drivers just putting in more laps is going to increase their chances of having a good run because of the dry line that is forming. We'll follow along with Montana coming towards the end of this run. He's just about to come into Courbe de Signe. Hopefully I've pronounced that one right, but he's lost time through the second sector. I did French in school, but you know what? I've never been very good at it. So coming in through turns number, I think, 11 and 12. Oh, he just come through turn 11 and up towards turn 12. An easy place to spin the car, and hopefully Montana can get through it. He's crawling through this corner. He's sub 1 lap of fuel, and he's sliding the car. He might actually be pulling into the pit lane at the end of this one because he's not got much fuel. And there he is. He's just pulled off to the right-hand side. He made a late decision to do that, but there is still time on that lap because he had improvements through the first sector, almost 0.2 up. He's just got to completely nail the lap.
Yeah, everyone going for quite a high fuel load, I think. But D. Daniel actually going to stay out on this lap, and he looks quite quick here. Vaporizer goes 3rd. Connor's just ahead of him out on track as well. So D. Daniel now for LR, normally for Leones. He's coming across the line. I think he will go quicker than Montana here. Comes across the line. At a 141 flat, and James Head gets it right again. D. Daniel out on top, Montana in 2nd, Vaporizer in 3rd. Lando, by the way, is still yet to set a lap. He's coming through the middle sector. Interestingly, he's on a set of wet compound tyres. The fastest wet man out on track is Bullet Boy in 10th on a 141.9. That was on 3-lap-old wets, just as in 12th on 42 flat. So he's not too far off the pace of Bullet Boy, but he's also not too far off the pace of D. Daniel. It's only a second separating the top 12.
They are very, very closed in together, packed like sardines. Lando, he's sliding the car in through turn number 10 and in towards turn 11. I think the wet tyres are probably going to be superseded by the intermediates very, Actually, Jiao Jiao, who's in the pit lane at the moment, he might actually have just pulled out. He's now on a set of intermediate tyres, so I think we have reached crossover point. Visually, the rain has let up ever so slightly, and I think the wet tyres just aren't the choice to make anymore. And Lando, he's run very wide through turn number 14, in through 15. He was struggling on that run. I don't think he'll be too pleased with this one. He'll probably come in very soon and fit a new set of tyres. We'll see him cross the line here.
Awesome.
See what time he does. And yeah, it's going to go bottom of the leaderboard. Not common that you see Mercedes at the rear of the field, but here we are in the world of F1 2020.
Ferrari's only just ahead as well. Kumbla name changer, of course, 15th and 16th, so they're hoping to try and get improvements in. Daniel now on a down lap. I think Connor's out there on a lap. He's invalidated actually coming through the final couple of corners, and typical, he comes into the pit lane. Actually crashes coming into the pit lane. Nearly lost the rear end. Kuka Games is out there on a lap, but it's invalid 400ths down through the first sector. Justice now on a set of wets, and he's 6/10ths up. So this could be quite interesting. The rain might be getting heavier out on track, and it could be that the wet are going to be the quicker tyre, possibly, as Justice now comes through the final corner at turn 15. Now we'll run to the line. A 141 flat to beat for Daniel. This could be very close, actually. Justice now comes across the line. I don't think he's going to go quickest, but he does improve, and he's up into third. So if that's anything to go by, it looks as if what we had, the crossover period between the inters and the wets, I think we're now beginning to see the wets beginning to get quicker out on track.
Yeah, he set a really nice time there. And makes it an NSX 2, 3, and 4. Very dominating in League of Europe's history. And Justus only recently joining the team. I believe he joined for last week. I really do like the way that he drives. He's very smooth with the way he performs, and also just his consistency this season has been something to be in awe of. He's pretty much been in the points every single race, aside from one that he DNF'd in at Canada, which was a crazy race by itself. But yeah, he's always been in the points. He's always been there or thereabouts. It certainly looks like in the wets he's got some pretty damn good pace. So we do have to watch out for him. Jiao Jiao through the Mistral Straight. He's got a little bit of a toe from a Haas driver in front of him. That's either fake Gilbrimo or it's Rocco. It's Rocco getting out of the way and allowing for the Danish driver to get through. Correct me if I am wrong on that one, but I think He is Danish. Is he Dutch?
No, he's Danish.
Okay, I thought you were disagreeing with me. He's 3/10 up though, so if he finds a good improvement through the third sector, he could be challenging with the likes of Daniel and Montana, locking out the front row for the Racing Point outfit at the moment. So it's just all up to Jiao Jiao, who's shown that he's very, very quick in the wet, especially on automatic, which I find very, very interesting. We'll watch him coming across the line. He's got a couple cars just in front of him, but no one really close enough to make an impact on his run and give him dirty air. Coming towards turn number 15 now, kissing the apex, and slowly you'll see him short shifting up the gears there. I believe that's the AI doing that for him. To cross the line, we'll see what he does. And he does improve. It's a 40.8, 6/10 improvement on his previous time, and he goes about 2/10 quicker.
What does the lead commentator in League of Europe know about the Inters now being quicker than the Wets? Absolutely diddly squat. Jiao Jiao on top, Daniel second, Montana in third. Justice is on a lap time, but he's 2/10 down. M Short is improving through the first. Oh, it's actually just improved at 141.6, I think. Yulbream as well improved. The German, of course, in his debut as a reserve. Filling in, of course, for Toxic, who apparently has got a migraine and a splinter. Really have heard these excuses before. Yulbream now coming through and towards turn 10, and now Yulbream on a very good lap. Oh, I thought he nearly invalidated through there. So Williams off through turn 1 and 2. I think that might have been Justice on a lap time, or Kuka Games just coming out of the pits possibly, but Yulbream now coming through turn 11 and now through turn 12. Let's see if he's going to try and improve. He just got a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 11 there, but now through turn 12 and now on the run up towards 13, 14 and 15 out on track. Montana, by the way, went third with a 141 flat, and Yulbream's into the pits. Absolute typical.
It is typical that they always like to bait us that they're going to be on a lap, and then they just, you know what, I'm going to come into the pit lane and I'll ruin all your fun.
Montana getting, goodness me, he was always, He was sideways, coming through turn 10 and again through 11. He's really drifting out that car. Tokyo drifting, coming through these corners. He was purple in the middle sector. So Montana, hopefully, going to be sending a good lap here. And he is, of course, the defending champion coming into tonight. Zhao Zhao out on top, D. Daniel second, Montana third. We're getting towards the business end in qualifying. Absolute typical. He was not happy with that lap. And he's into the pit lane as Rocco pops himself into fourth.
Decent enough time from Rocco there as Vaporizer. You've seen he's DNF'd. He's actually lost that at the exit of turn number 10, and where Montana almost spun the car. It seems like he wasn't able to save it in quite the style that the Swiss man did. He crossed the line. He's just gone into fourth position. We've got Mercedes coming through the final sector. That's Hardy. He's a little bit up on his time. This could see him shooting up the grid to around about where I'd say Connor is at the moment. He's speaking of Connor, he's actually just got him right behind him. We'll see Hardy crossing the line now. He goes into 15th, so didn't find much of an improvement. But Connor to cross the line, he goes into 8th position. We've got 2.5 minutes almost left to go in this session, so it really is crunch time for these guys.
Yeah, it is crunch time. Kuka Games about to start to lap. The Mercedes of Lando about to start to lap. Next man to come across the line is Campbell, and he was 2 tenths up coming out of the middle sector there. So the Scotsman hoping he can try and get some retribution out on track. Of course, already a race winner in Division 1 in the last season, certainly in Monaco. And Campbell will be hoping for a very good result out on track. He now comes through turn 11, then through turn 12. Taking the thinner line coming through turn 12. It doesn't really set him up nicely coming on the exit, and he might have just lost a little bit of time there as he now comes through 13. And then in toward 14 on the inside line as he takes through, nipping up the inside curb through 14 and then through 15. The rain still really falling here at the Circle Paul Ricard. Now Campbell comes across the line. I think he's not going to really improve on this lap time. Campbell comes across the line. And it's a 141.444. What does the commentator know? He goes 7th.
It's a pretty respectable time coming up from him there. D. Daniel doesn't seem like he's pushing at the moment, so Verstappen will probably be the next one to cross the line. He's using up his overtake, and he might pick up just the slightest amount of slipstream. It's not too powerful in the wet weather conditions, but he still could find some form of an improvement to cross the line. No. See what it does. He doesn't improve on that lap, ever so slightly down. Neo just crossed the line there. He's gone into 9th position, just ahead of Connor. Of course, everyone qualifying in the wet, they're going to start on whatever tyre they want, so we could see some alternate strategies coming out today in the dry. Assuming it's dry, of course, we could have a wet race, and well, that would be
Connor
quite interesting to see. Yeah, Connor should cross
to
the line here. He
goes
to third.
Nice improvement there in the final sector, actually, by Connor. Was on board with him. He's 2.5 tenths up through the middle sector. We came on board with him throughout at turn 15, but Connor goes third at 141.078. And how's that come for consistency? 14 hundredths of a second between D. Daniel Connor, 14 hundredths of a second between Connor and Montana.
Nice. That is
very nice.
That's very satisfying to look at. We've got 30 seconds left in the session. Name change has just begun on a lap. I believe M Short is also about to start his final run. There's an Alfa Romeo and a Racing Point car of Zhao Zhao and Montana. These two will be the last drivers to put in laps. We've got to watch out for them. 15 seconds left to go. Montana's just begun on his lap, and now Zhao Zhao is begun on his. There's a Renault just come through the final sector now. It's Campbell, who's not found a very strong improvement, and he might be on the buzzer beater here if he could just begin another lap. And oh, how is that for close? He's just made it in there.
He's fine. He was a second over the line, I think, so it wasn't too bad at all. It's not joining it on like 0.00. D. Daniel's out on a lap. He's the first to come across the line. On a lap, comes across the line and finds no improvement. 2 tenths down on his lap time. Who else is out there? Connor was 6 tenths up before he invalidated through a 55.3 in the middle sector. So Connor will be absolutely ruining his luck. Kublai comes across the line. He invalidated. Connor back into the pit lane. Who's going to be the next to come across the line? It looks like a Haas, and it looks like fake Yulbream could be, as Yulbream is 3 tenths up at this stage, coming through the final sector now. M Short is just behind him, I think, out on track. He's coming through the middle sector, but Yulbream now around the final corner. Is he going to try and improve up the order? The Division 1 reserve here tonight, replacing Toxic, comes across the line at 141.713 to beat and it's a 1:41.1, and he finds a lot of time in that final sector, so Yildirim gets across the line. Montana is 400th up. Daniel didn't improve. Jaja is a 10th down, so we'll run on board with Montana. M. Short is going to be the next one to come across the line, however, along with Name Changer. So Name Changer coming across the line, he is going to improve fivefold on this lap, and a 1:42.1 keeps him in 17th. M. Short out the final corner is 2.5 tenths up, but can he improve up the order? M. Short, the leading champion, coming into tonight, comes across the line, and he goes 7th, but what's Montana doing? Montana comes across the line, he goes 2nd. Jiao now is pretty much on pole, and he goes quicker. Jiao goes quicker, and that is a statement and a half. Campbell is then the last one to come across the line, and I think he might be up on his time. Campbell comes across the line, and he goes up to 8th, I think that was. So Campbell up to 8th, a very good lap time from him. In fact, it's 7th from Campbell. Very good lap time from him. We'll confirm the grid order in just a second, as the screen will load. And Jaja is out on top by 900ths of a second. The king of the intermediates defeating the king. Montana in 2nd, Daniel in 3rd, Connor in 4th, with Yildirim in 5th. Good qualifying from him, with Verstappen in 6th, Campbell in 7th, M. Short 8th, Justice in 9th, and Kooky Games rounding off the top 10. Rocco, Vaporizer, Neo, Kumbly, and Bullet Boy rounding off the top 15. Hardy, Name Changer, and Lando 16th, 17th, and 18th. Gotta be impressed by that though. Just under 7/10 of a second, separating the top 13.
Yeah, of course. Really close, especially for the wet weather conditions. That is really quite the sight to see. But Jiao proving once again he turns into Michael Schumacher when it comes to the wet conditions, and he's had a really strong performance, out-qualifying the rest of the grid by around about a 10th, and Montana was also quite clear, but there it is, the nice and sunny skies of track, nice and bright, so we're going to get some dry running, and free choice of tyres for all the drivers, so it'll be really interesting to see what they opt for on the strategy. Normally, you go for a softer hards, I'd think, but in these conditions, you might be able to take the softs a little bit longer and then be able to push the mediums. If you're not as hard on your tyres, that could be possible, but it'll be really difficult for these guys given how fast they drive.
Yeah, there's a big debate around this track, whether the one stop's quickest, whether the two stop's quickest. Personally, I think the two stop is quickest out on track. I've seen plenty of races around here on the old F1 games that just backs that up. And it comes to show, I think, the strategy and the high tyre degradation around this track, because we're talking something like 5-6% a lap coming around here in terms of high tyre deg. So these softs are going to be going off the cliff, especially those guys who didn't qualify, of course, on the dry tyres, because they all qualified on the wets. They get free choice, so everyone essentially, think about it, is on an even playing field coming into qualifying. I'm about to get going into the formation lap here at the Circuit Paul Ricard. I want to know though who your guys' top 3 are. Comment in the comment section, of course. Like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you are new, and if you like CRG Geo, who is spooking in the background and spying on the action, then of course to tune in. And I'm sure if this was at Twitch, we'd get a raid going like we did with Danny Haddad in the F1 24 hours event.
Oh, I remember that. We were commentating at that time. I think we were doing Japan. That was a brilliant moment where an F1 esports driver raided our stream. That was a really great moment that I still think about it. I did thank him after the stream, and he was really kind about it. So, yeah, thank you to Daniel Haddad, even though it was quite some time ago. Can you believe it? It's been 4 months to this day, actually, since we had the 24-hour event.
Oh my god, I feel old. I'm old as it is, but I feel old, and I feel that was like 2 minutes ago, honestly. Jajo then out on top, Montana 2nd, Daniel in 3rd. Everyone have gone for a bit of a split strategy. Most of the field on a set of hards. That's Connor, Verstappen, Campbell, Just Ask, Kooky Games, Rocco, Vaporizer, Neo, Kumbly, Bullet Boy, Hardy, and Name Changer all on a set of hards. Everyone else on a set of mediums. And all of the guys on a set of mediums are going to have a distinct advantage. They're probably going to pit in around halfway, but they will have to go onto a set of hard compounded tyres, so there's a no-nonsense one-stop strategy, while some of the hards could last around 19-20 laps, possibly out on track, and we could see soft running right at the end, and they're going to be the quicker guys, surely those guys in a set of hards.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be rapid in comparison, especially since they'll be on lighter levels of fuel, but they just got to think about the present, the now, and one driver I'll be watching out for is Lando. He's in a field of hard runners. He's completely mired at the back of the grid, but he's on a set of mediums, and he'll be pushing them right to the limit. Before you ask me what my predictions are. I'll make them. You know what? I'll flip the question to you. What are your predictions?
My predictions for the top 3: Montana for the win. I just think he'll get the start on Zhao Zhao running down in towards turn 1. I think for second we'll go with Connor, and for third, Zhao Zhao. So I'm not going no nonsense. How about you?
I'll go with Montana winning the race. I'll go with Connor in second, and just for fun, I'll throw our debutante Yul Breen in a third position.
Interesting. We'll see who comes out, of course. Neither of us might be right. Matt Tibbles might be right. M. Short, Connor and Zhao Zhao, he goes for a top 3 out on track. So France then about to begin. Round 8 of the championship here in Season 5 of League of Europe is about to begin. And it's lights out and away we go. Zhao Zhao reacts so quick to the start, and Montana is a sitting duck running down in towards turn 1 as Daniel could try and get past. We've already got a bit of a graphic switch to the left-hand side, but Zhao Zhao leads coming through turn 1, and what an insane start that was. He's got 4/10 of a second already over Montana. Daniel in third as contact further down the field. I think Lando has been spun coming through turn 1. He's dropping down the field. He's right at the back, so a disaster for Lando. I think he got caught up in a collision, possibly with Bullet Boy and Hardy, but Zhao Zhao leading the way. Montana in second. Daniel in third as we now have that graphic switch fixed to the left hand side, but what a start that was by Zhao Zhao, and he's absolutely bolted out in front.
Yeah, he's got a nice healthy gap back to Montana at the moment. No DRS until lap number 3. This is going to be a crucial overtaking zone, and it is also crucial that they remain close to their rivals. But here's M Short going up the inside of Campbell, and I think someone else behind was also trying to make a move. That might have been
Hardy.
Eustace.
No, it was Hardy trying to go around the outside of Vaporizer, I think, and now Hardy's under pressure as well from Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy on the inside line running up in towards turn 12. Second half the Mistral straight as we come now through turn 10. Flat out in these cars. Vaporizer just comes across on Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy on the outside line. Hardy's on the inside line. There could be contact here if they're leaning each other. Hardy just about comes out unscathed. Bullet Boy is still there though, and the battle for 14th is well and truly on. Cookie Games and Just Ass is fighting just in front as well, but Bullet Boy down into 14th position. Hardy's not giving this one on without a fight. The Mercedes tries to find around the outside through turn 15. Bullet Boy just sneaks ahead. Beautiful move there by Bullet Boy. Beautiful racing between them both. Constantino effect, and Kumbly has got damage on the right side end plate. He got a bit of Constantino effect with name changer just in front of him. Kumbly has got right side end plate damage, and he's just past the pit lane as well. Absolute disaster. But it's Zhao Zhao who leads. Montana second. Daniel in third at the end of lap 1.
Yep, healthy 6/10 gap between Zhao Zhao and Montana at the moment, and the same around about 5/10 between Montana and Daniel, so they're all spacing each other out ever so slightly. It seems like my prediction for a podium today, Yul Breen has found himself up in 4th position, and once the DRS does become available for these drivers, he could be caught in a train with all the drivers. But here's M Short going for a move on Verstappen coming up the inside in towards the Nord chicane. He gets the move coming into the braking zone. Verstappen's got no answer. Those medium tyres are going to be like the Flash, really, in comparison to the hards at this point in the race. M Short just weaving to get a little bit more temperatures into the tyres, but he's made up a couple positions, both on the Renault cars, and he's had a pretty strong start to this race.
He's going to be carving through this field like carving through a turkey at Christmas. M Short in 6th, Connor in 5th, and that was a really bad one, I know. Bullet Boy Vaporizer side by side, Bullet Boy through, and he's over at the 13th position. I've got a massive smile on my face there that I've just said that. Zhao Zhao leads for Montana in 2nd. I'll tell you what though, Montana looking a little bit quicker through this final section. He's right on the back of Zhao Zhao. Of course, DRS is not going to be enabled until they go down the chicane, down the Mistral straight down in towards chicane Nord for the 3rd time. But Zhao Zhao leads coming across the line. We've got Kumbly into the pit lane, replacing his right side end plate damage for Montana now, right on the back of Zhao Zhao, and he's going to try and put the IFR man under pressure. The Dane against the Swiss, but don't rule out the Dutchman in behind. Daniel, who's outscoring M Short at this stage, doing everything he can to try and outscore M Short and try and get the championship lead.
Of course, he picked up a number of points on M Short in the last race, and he's going to want to really keep that momentum going forward. But coming onto the Mistral straight out of turn number 7 is Montana. DRS activated now. He's 4/10 back from Zhao Zhao. Is he going to utilise his overtake coming down the straight? He might not even need it, because he's getting really close. He just backs out at the very last second. He wants to keep that DRS advantage so he doesn't come under pressure from Daniel. So he has just maintained 2nd position for the time being. Zhao Zhao going to be remaining in the lead, but these guys so close. About 8/10, I'd say, separating the top 3.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second, just under 0.5 of a second now between the top three. You can throw a blanket over the top three at this moment. Montana looks the inside on and Jaja coming through turn 11, but not quite close enough. Jaja leads. Daniel, my God, goodness me, he was a bit sideways coming out of turn 11. He didn't lose actually a lot of time as a result, and Montana is just under a little bit of pressure from Jaja in front as Jaja now applies the pressure once again to Montana to say, catch me if you can. And Jaja leads, coming at the end of lap 3. Montana in second, Daniel in third, Yulbream in fourth. Yulbream doing a very good job out on track. Name changes right on the back of Hardy further down the field, but Yulbream now on the back. Montana looks the inside line on Jaja. Knowing Montana, he's not really going to go for these moves. He's just going to sit behind, wait, and possibly wait until the pit stops.
Yeah, he's probably going to want to jump Jiao Jiao before that time comes, and he'll probably do it at the latest opportunity that he gets the top two, just putting out a slight gap to Daniel and Yulbream behind. Yulbream was about second off, actually, this time last lap, but all the squabbling and just kind of getting really close to each other has allowed for him to close up to the back of the Racing Point car. He's 4 tenths back at the moment, but he's not close enough to make a move. What about Montana? He might be sailing on by this one, and he's going to go to the left-hand side to make the move coming into the chicane, and Jiao Jiao's got no answer for it. He can't defend from Montana out of turn number 9 and in towards turn number 10. It's Montana leading the way from Jiao Jiao in second and Daniel in third.
I'll correct myself. Knowing Montana will go for the move down the inside and towards turn 8 and get the move done. Montana leads, Jiao second, Daniel in third, Yulbream in fourth. I want to try and escape from what I've just said like half a minute ago. Montana out on top, the Jiao second, Daniel in third. Yulbream though, really impressed with his pace at this stage, but he has now drawn onto the back of a leading group of 4. Connor, on a set of hard compound of tyres, is beginning to be dragged into this, I feel. Now Yulbream will look to the inside of Daniel coming in towards turn 14. He's not close enough. Somebody that is close enough though, down the back of the field is Lando on name changer down the inside line. Goes Lando in towards turn 14. Job done by Lando, and he's thrown it into 16. Not surprised. He's on a set of mediums, but name changer now has got to struggle around as Lando is through, and he's up into 16th. Nice move, a little bit of contact, but Lando rubbing his racing.
Yeah, if you remember, Lando was actually spun around at turn number 1 on lap number 1.
Yeah.
Beginning lap number found his way back into the train, so we got some really strong pace. Hardy, the first driver to pick up penalty, I just saw that one. He lost it almost coming out of turn number 2, and that just sent him off the circuit, got him a warning. But is Jiao Jiao close enough to Montana to try and go for a move? He's just blinked on the ERS. I don't know what I said, blinked. I meant blinked, but he's trying to go for the move. He's not close enough to make a send coming into the chicane. No moves, no changes for the top 4 coming through here. But what about M Short on Connor? Because he's found himself 2 tenths back from the Red Bull driver. His teammate wasn't able.
There's a good battle going on further down the field. Both Mercedes are going side by side. Hardy and Lando, they're not excelling out on track, and they're actually battling for once. As Hardy is 15th, Lando in 15th, sorry, Hardy in 16th, but they're still side by side running towards turn 10, and Lando is actually given right away of the corner, and he's through into 15th, but look at name changer down the inside line, 3 wide and towards turn 11. Can he get them both? Name changer down the inside line. That is absolutely insane from name changer. He spun at the gap and he went for it. Lando now, Hardy in the meantime trying to go on the back, but he's now contacted a name changer. What a move that is. He is up in the 15th position. Both Mercedes squabbling. It cost them both. A name changer's through. A Ferrari carves through Mercedes if ever wasn't there. A name changer's into 15th.
Flying Finn in the Ferrari, shades of Kimi Räikkönen there in his prime. A brilliant move to take 15th position of all places. If it was for the lead, that'd have been quite the different story, but he has found himself making up a couple positions, and unfortunately with all that fighting, as Lando picks up a 3-second time penalty, they've dropped quite a lot back to the pack, and actually Lando's crashed out.
Lando's crashed out through turn 2. That's off track, I think, so I'm not sure if there'll be a safety car or a VSC deployment out on track. And that means Kumbla is in 17th position. Lando retiring at the race. Did he crash that into the wall? Or was there contact between him and name changer? They were quite close at that stage. Nobody getting the move done, but I tell you what, Jiao Jiao now applying a bit of pressure to Montana out in front. Hardy as well on name changer. Further down the field into the chicane, no, but Montana leading the way. Yulbream now right on the back of Daniel in behind, and Yulbream looking maybe quicker at the top 4 at this stage. The German really excelling out on track. He's got Daniel, the LR man, in front, Connor in behind him, the NSX man, and M Short actually is going with Connor, and we're beginning to see a gap develop between M Short and Verstappen.
Yeah, it seems like Verstappen's
Here's
struggling
Yulbrim,
at the
sorry to
moment.
cut in, Yulbrim's down on the inside line, and D Daniel trying to get the move done. He's on the inside of through 14, he's going to be on the outside of 15. He might try and get the switch back, but I tell you what, D Daniel, really good defensive driving there. Put up a fight and remains in P3, but for how long as Yulbrim now tries to catch him down in towards turn 1. But D Daniel, I think, has got the pace and has got the move, and he still stays in P3. Really good defensive driving that, though.
Yeah, I think Yulbrim just wanted to apply a little bit of pressure, hoping that D Daniel would crack, and they've dropped a little bit of time to the leaders, but that has immediately been made back up, and this is a 6-car train for the lead of the Grand Prix. And coming onto the straightaway, it seems like Montana's actually beginning to drop Zhao Zhao ever so slightly, struggling a little bit at this point in the race. I'm not too sure if anyone's really close enough to try and mount a challenge. What about Yulbrim? No, he's 4 tenths back from him, from D Daniel there. I'm sure he's used up all of his ERS. It's a very tricky circuit to charge it up. There's Eustace completely cruising
Cookie
on by.
Games down the inside line, and Campbell as well. Campbell could be a setting duck from both Williams. He's got 1, just as is through, and he's into 8, but Campbell now down into 9th. Cookie Games gets caught on the curb. Nearly has a slight moment now. Slovenian right on the back. He's got 20% of ERS now to use up on the back of Campbell. Campbell's got 5% of ERS, so actually Cookie Games in a much better position, and he's going to try and go around the outside through turn 11. We saw Name Changer dive it down the inside through 11, and Cookie Games tries to hang around, but I'll tell you what, Campbell positioned his car perfectly there. Cookie Games, no way he was going to get around the outside there, and Campbell stays in 9th, but has lost the position to Justas for 8th.
Yeah, he's dropped quite time to the Lithuanian driver as well, so he's going to want to try and claw that one back. It seems like everyone's been a bit caught in a train here. The top 7, the breakaway pack at the moment, and Eustace in position. He's got the train behind him. Rocco closing in on Cookie Games. We're looking to make a move earlier on, just at turn number 11. Last lap, and he's actually touched him coming through turn number 1, and he's kind of dissettled him. And now he's going to go for the move coming in towards turn number 3. Here he is, wheel to wheel. Who's going to get the move into the braking zone? Cookie Games trying to hold it around the outside, but the door just closes there. There was nowhere for him to go, and he would have been off the circuit, and that is him losing the position to Rocco. Finds himself in the top 10 now. A little bit argy-bargy from the pair of them, but like I said earlier, Rupping is racing, so yeah, good enough move from Rocco there. I don't think Cookie Games are too happy about it though.
Yeah, Cookie Games, I think that might go to the stewards, that one, because I technically class that as a push to pass, because he made contact with him, then went for the move. He decided to back off, and Cookie Games could have stayed in P11, out on track, and then nothing would have been done. But Bullet Boy's on the back of Neo, regardless of which, and he's now a 10th of a second off, as now Neo switches the inside on the German, under pressure from the Brit. The Brit, of course, stepping up from Division 2, now as a Division 1 reserve, and Bullet Boy actually gets forced out wide. He's onto the marbles, coming through turn 11, went so out wide, but he's now going to try and get the switch on Neo, running in towards turn number 12 for 12th position, the final point scoring position, of course, here in League of Europe. But Montana leading the way out in front, Jaja there in 2nd, D Daniel there in 3rd, Yulbrim in 4th, Connor in 5th, M Short in 6th. Gaps just beginning to strengthen out slightly in the top half of the field. Neil still under pressure from the back of Bullet Boy, and Bullet Boy, all of these guys running a DRS train. I hardly doubt anybody is going to try and get the move down in towards turn 1. I'll correct myself, nobody's going to get the move down in towards turn 1 either.
Just looking at the gaps between the top of the field, it seems like they are beginning to space out a little bit, and actually Zhao Zhao's close to losing DRS, really the luxury of the DRS on on Montana, with D Daniel right behind him, who's about 6 tenths back. But the DRS is very, very powerful, and you can see how much Zhao Zhao's been able to claw back that gap that he had previously lost. So yeah, lap number 9 at the Grand Prix, I'd say the hard tyres going to start to click into gear in comparison to the medium tyres, which will go off pretty soon. You could do around about 15 laps, and then you'll be in punch territory, as I learned last night in the PC tier. I was on 77% towards the end, so these guys will probably be taking it to around about the lap 14 mark, I'd say. Just to be a little bit more careful, they'll go onto a set of hard compound of tyres to run to the end, whereas the hard runners, they've got a little bit more flexibility in what they pick, because they can extend their stint and go onto the softs, or they can go onto the mediums and have a bit of a safer route. So they've got more flexibility in their strategy, which I'd say gives the advantage overall to the hard runners at the moment.
It does indeed, and speaking of the hard runners, Connor's on the back of Yulbrim, Verstappen now on the back of M Short, and that's the battle we're going to focus on for 6th position, left 10 out of 27, more than a third of the way through here now at the Circuit Paul Ricard in front. Myself, James Had and Daniel Field taking you through the action, and Montana leads from Jajo second, D Daniel in third, but now the hard runners beginning to switch, possibly a switch over in terms of the tyres. The hard's probably going to be quicker now from this point on compared to the set of mediums ahead, so that might mean we could get a few overtakes. Connor is on the back of Yilgreen for 4th, and you can see on board now with the halo cam, as it comes out of turn number 6 and now out of turn 7. It looks like he's lagging slightly down the straight, but now Verstappen tries to eye up onto the back of M Short. M Short just within DRS range there on Connor, about 6 tenths off him. Verstappen is not going to try and get the move done down the inside in towards from that far back, and the Renault stays in P7 for now. Somebody that might get the move done though further down the field, Vaporizer right on the back of Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy right on the back of Neo, and a three-way battle for 12th now beginning to develop as the McLaren, the Alpha Tauri and the Alfa Romeo begin to battle out on track. And now Vaporizer is going to use up that ERS. That ERS has been consumed very effectively indeed as he now tries to get onto the back of Bullet Boy, and Bullet Boy on the back of Neo as well. But look at that. Look, you can see in the wing mirrors. There's I run on board with name change by mistake. Vaporizer tries to look down the inside line. Doesn't get the move done. Bullet Boy on the back of Neo, and it still remains Neo, Bullet Boy, Vaporizer for 12th.
Yeah, he got very close to the rear left tyre of that Alpha Tauri car, and that would have been very, very scary. If they were to make contact, I'd expect damage would have gone towards Vaporizer, and Bullet Boy would have been sent into a spin, but luckily just at the last moment Vaporizer backed out of that one. We'll see possibly if Bullet Boy wants to go for a move coming towards Sound of Warning, closing very quickly, but he's just going to hang back for the time being, and he actually misses Apex pretty badly there. I think he might have gotten a touch from Vaporizer because he was right up behind him through there, so I didn't quite catch the perspective of Vaporizer. I was on board with Bullet Boy, but very close between these three. They've dropped quite heavily to the rest of the pack, who have sort of formed a DRS train at the moment, actually. They're all in one long train from first all the way down into 7th. 11th.
I was going to say, down into 7th. Goodness me, just as, Justice is in, we're going to pronounce his name, aren't we? We are. But he's in, the Lithuanians in 8th position. Campbell in 9th, Rocco in 10th, Kuki Games in 11th. And they're just dropping back slightly. The top 7 have all got within a group of each other. I'll tell you what though, D Daniel's right on the back of Jaja, running in towards turn 12. As now D Daniel comes through turn 11, I should say. Now through turn 12, as Montana leads, Jaja in 2nd, D Daniel in 3rd. But now D Daniel's probably been instructed by Montana at this point to try and put a bit of pressure on Jaja. And these guys might be just beginning to break away from Mule Green as well. And now this front, the 2nd and 3rd are in. Jaja in, D Daniel in, and D Daniel nearly rear ends into the back of Jaja. A little bit of PG-18 there. Turn away, look away if you've got a kid in the room with you. M Short there in 7th. He's into the pit lane as well as Jaja, D Daniel and M Short are all into the pits.
So the first 3 drivers on the medium tyres will all be coming in for a set of the hard compound of tyres. They'll get a nice undercut on the drivers in front of them, especially the likes of Montana and Yulbream. Of course, all the hard runners who started on the compound will have to come into the pits. They'll either go into a set of mediums or softs, as Justas picking up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Only a few drivers have done that so far tonight. Bullet Boy, Hardy being the other than Lando before he DNF. Even he picked up a 3-second time penalty. Vaporizer's very close to the back of Bullet Boy, but the DRS is getting so tricky for him to actually catch up. And he's just going to be hanging back for the time being. Hardy, he's picked up another 3-second time, but that makes it 2 for him, amounting to 6 seconds. Bullet Boy right up to the rear of Neo. He's just about avoided getting wing damage off the back of Husky Chocolate coming in towards turn number 10. He's a little bit too far back to try and make a move through here, but no, Bullet Boy, he might go for the move. He's also got Vaporizer a little bit further back than he was last time by, where they almost made contact. Coming through turn 11, you can see how close he is getting to the back of Neo, but he's just not close enough to try and go for a move. And then through turn 12, it's all Neo running very, very deep into the braking zone as Montana's into the pit, as is Yulbream. So the last of the medium runners who started on the compound are now going to be coming in to fit the hard tyres.
Bullet Boy just looks up, gives Vaporizer a bit of a chance actually, and Bullet Boy I thought would have said to Neo, let's go. Surely you got that one. Connor leads, Verstappen second, Justas in third, Campbell in fourth, Rocco in fifth, Cookie Games in sixth, Neo in seventh. That's a really bad one. Montana is out of the pit lane. Yulbream coming out of the pits. It's going to be quite close, actually. There is Jow Jow. Jow Jow is going to be ahead of Yulbream, but is he going to be ahead of Montana? It could be side by side down towards turn one, but no, Montana is ahead, and Montana remains in the net race lead out on track. Vaporizer now putting pressure on Bullet Boy further down the field. Connor leads the way. Verstappen in second, Justas in third, Campbell fourth. Justas, I should say, in third, Campbell fourth, and then Rocco in fifth, and now Rocco trying to close up onto the back of Campbell, running down the Mistral straight. He's only got 9% of that ERS left. Bullet Boy now says, let's go at Neo, and Neo absolutely sails on by him as Bullet Boy is through, and he's into 7th position. Vaporize has just picked up a 3-second time penalty, but now Bullet Boy can now focus on the rest of his race. He's got 14% of ERS, Neo's got 30, and Vaporize has got 85% of ERS. God almighty, use it up, my son.
He's got to push at some point, and, well, if you're finishing the race with battery spare, that could have been battery that you might have been able to use to make an overtake, so why not just blitz it, especially since they're coming up to the pit stop phase. He's not going to use it all up by then, so I don't see anything wrong with him doing so. But out of the drivers that pitted, the real driver to benefit was M Short, as a very early pit stop here, as is Bullet Boy. They're coming in.
Mediums can last. Mediums can last from here. About 14, 15 laps. Yeah, I think the mediums can last from here. So these guys are going early to try and get out of that DRS train, and they're going to go on to a set of medium compounded tyres. This might be skillful intuition, actually, from both Rocco and Bullet Boy to go on to a set of mediums at this point. They're going to be quicker towards the end of the race. They're going to be out and clear out as well, with Kuhn Bly coming through 10-14 at the minute. So Rocco's in 15th, Bullet Boy in 16th. These guys are 3.5, 4 seconds roughly off the back of Yulbream in 14th position, currently for a net P4, but Rocco in 15th, he's in the Haas, he's on much quicker tyres compared to his teammate ahead of him. Now it's game on for Rocco and Bullet Boy. Can they perform an undercut of a century, as now Vaporizer is through on Neo, running down the Mistral straight, and he's up in towards P7.
So the early pit stop will probably work out in Rocco and Bullet Boy's favour, especially for Rocco, because he'll be able to catch up to the back of this train as Yulbream onto the back of M Short. He's a little bit too far back to try and make his end through the chicane, but Yulbream was jumped by the McLaren driver in through the pit stop phase. And if they're all following in the DRS train, if they're fighting, they're going to be sacrificing a lot of time to Rocco, because of course he'll be getting the undercut on all the hard runs in front of him. And he's also got the much fresher tyres as Justas pulls into the pit lane. Bullet Boy picking up 3 seconds. Campbell's in as well. So Neo pulling in as well. What about name change? He's going to stay out. I think it's the last of the runners. No mind, because Hardy pulls into the pit lane as well. 4 drivers coming in for a change of tyres.
Hardy's crashed! Hardy's
retired. He's done that in the pit.
Oh, he's done that in the pit lane. I thought he crashed coming into the pit lane. Goodness me. Hardy is retired. Absolute disaster for Hardy. Not sure why he's retired. I know we would have been joining probably to the back of the field. Montana then sets the new fastest lap of the race, a 131.8 out on track. He's now in 6th position and now can hunt down Name Changer. Those guys in front will probably be pitting in probably in the next 3 laps or so. Montana leads the way. Jow Jow in 2nd, D Daniel in 3rd, essentially in terms of the net battle out on track. They're 6th, 7th and 8th. Currently out on track, M Short and Yulbream. But look at where Justas has came out. Justas has came out in 11th position, 1.4 seconds off. Yes, he's got a 3-second time penalty. He can't, can he?
It'll be ambitious for him. But, well, he's been really strong throughout the season. He's shown that he's got good pace to win races. Maybe luck has been completely in his favour. I'm going back to Canada, where, of course, he DNF'd. So he could be in a very good position. He's already in DRS range just about. He's 1.1 seconds off, but that gap is surely going to sub 1 second. There it is. So coming down the straight, the second part of the straight through turn number 10, he's now got DRS on drivers in front of him. The leaders are O'Connor, Verstappen and Cookie Games are pulling into the pit lane, as is Vaporizer. He might have cut the pit entry there, cutting across the white line. I'm not sure if he's allowed to do that there, but yeah. Now, medium tyres going on for all the drivers. No one is going to try for the set of softs unless Name Changer is going to try and extend it for the softs. Why not, I guess, go for the fastest lap. He's not going to be getting any points in this race.
Connor's going to be right in this. Connor is going to be right in this, but he's going to join right pretty much side by side with Yulbrim coming out the pit lane. That is absolutely perfect for Connor to rejoin, and Connor has just performed possibly an undercut of the century on the back of Yulbrim and M Shaw. Andy Daniel currently in 6th position, really out on track. Name Changer's still going out on track, he leads the way, but Montana 2nd, Jajo in 3rd. Now the fun begins. Connor right on the back of Yulbrim. Rocco has just got a million a second of just as well, but Connor now on the back of Yulbrim. He's got his sights set on the German in front. I don't think he's going to be close enough, and if anything, he's coming back now down the straight, but Connor not going to get close enough. Yulbrim not using up any overtake mode either, running down the straight. It just cost him slightly on the back, but Montana leading the way. Jajo in 2nd, Daniel in 3rd. I'm not sure whether to say prepare for a lot of overtaking out on track or prepare for no overtaking out on track.
Well, hopefully the former, and I think Connor might be going for it because he can see how close he is to the back of Yulbrim. Coming through turn 11.
No way, no way!
Up the inside, and somehow he's made that one stick. He's into 6th position. He smells blood in the water, and he's going to be feasting on these guys tonight. The medium tyres, fresher compound. He's going to be so quick coming towards the end of this one. But what a send coming onto the back of Yulbrim. I'd be surprised if that one doesn't make overtakes of the week, as Justus now forcing his way past Yulbrim, coming now down the straightaway. He's using up his overtake down in towards turn number 1. They're wheel to wheel. They're so close to contact. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? It's around the outside goes Justus on Yulbrim. He's lost 2 positions in the space of 2 sectors. The medium runners are on fire today.
I did say let the fun begin. I didn't think the overtaking would begin as soon as I said that. Montana leads the way. Jajo in 2nd. Connor through then on Yulbrim, and Yulbrim's lost 2 positions for the price of 1, really, as Justus is through and he's into 7th position as well. But now Connor on the back of M Short. Daniel trying to get onto the back of Jajo. They've just dropped off slightly. Now Connor has got M Short within his sights as the yellow flag in sector 2, and that is Bullet Boy that is round. Coming out through turn 7. There's now Connor down on the inside line. Gets the move done on M Short. Brilliant move. He is a man on fire tonight. He's like a knife carving through butter at this stage, and Connor is on absolute fire, but he's got to remain very cool and very calm as now Verstappen is ganging up on Yulbrim, and he is through on the run up in towards turn 10 as well. Justus as well on the back of M Short, and Daniel up Jojo in contact. Just about keeps it on track, and they're still side by side.
Oh my goodness me, trying to hold it around the outside. Daniel was so ambitious there, the door completely shut on him.
VSC.
Virtual safety.
Bullet Boy spun. Bullet Boy spun through the chicane node. So that's why. I'm not sure if he's actually DNF'd. He's actually DNF'd out on track, so VSC out on track. For Bullet Boy retiring, he's crashed obviously coming through. Very weird place to go off, albeit, but now a VSE is being deployed out on track. Connor got that move done on M Short beautifully. Justus as well, trying to get the move done on M Short, but Daniel and Jojo, not Yao as I said in commentary there, Daniel on the back of Jojo, really fighting aggressively, and to be honest, I think Jojo had enough of Daniel going around the outside and just said, you know what, you're getting forced onto the outside curb.
Yeah, that was quite the interesting turn of event. I'm surprised they both managed to keep it. It was like that feeling. He's gone into the back of him. I think he might have just picked up the slightest bit of damage. It looks like the end plate is somewhat bent. I don't know if that's a feature in this game, but he might have the slightest bit of wing damage as we are now underway. Here comes Connor. Oh my goodness me. What about Justus?
Jojo's a sitting duck. Daniel's going to try and go around the outside line. And the yellow man is around the outside of Jojo. Jojo breaks late, but he's now going to be really under pressure from Daniel and behind. As now Connor, M Short, Justus, Rocco, Verstappen, all gang up on him. Yulbrim and Campbell not entirely out of this either. And we better get going. This is all Eddie Montana, by the way. Absolutely spearhead up the road by a second and a half. Look at this. Side by side and behind, Rocco and Verstappen going side by side as Rocco goes out. Verstappen down the inside line. Gets the move done. Has he? No, he's not. It's side by side. It's there side by side between Connor. Connor goes round the outside of turn 12. He gets the move done on Daniel. Really great stuff by Connor. He's a man on fire here tonight. The Brit name changes into the pit lane to probably go on to set us off combat tyres. It's kicking off big time here in front. Side by side in the background. Yulbrim and Campbell try to go side by side. Campbell hangs on to the position. Yulbrim, I think, got overtaken there possibly. But now running down the straight, M Shorts on the back of Daniel, and the 2 championship leaders are now about to do battle down in towards turn 1. Not quite close enough. Jojo now under pressure from Connor. You don't know where to turn.
There's too much going on for my brain to even comprehend, as M Short might be trying to go around the outside into turn number 3. Daniel holds it defensively, might get a worse off line coming through the apex here.
Switch
you
back.
can see he's putting so much pressure trying to go for the switchback move, but he's not made that one stick. And what about Connor? Well, this is going to be probably the easiest move he's going to make of the race. And coming down the straightaway, Zhao Zhao might try and fight this, but I wouldn't expect him to, as here comes Connor. And he's gone up the inside line. And now, what is the gap to him and Montana?
Oh,
it's
Verstappen's down the inside of
1.6
Rocco.
seconds.
Verstappen trying to go on the outside of Rocco, tries to get the switch back out of turn number 8. Now out of the chicane node and running up the hill and towards turn 10. Verstappen right on the back of Rocco. Justas is not too far off the back of M Short either. You don't know where to turn, as I say, in terms of this action. Justas now has got no percent of EOS. M Short's out wide. Justas is down the inside line. That is an insane move by Justas. Absolutely outdoes M Short. A switch back of the century, and Justas is through, and he's into P4. The medium runners out on track are absolutely carving through the hards as if they weren't even there.
Who'd have thought the best place for overtaking around France would be turn 11 of all places? The gap between
Cookie
Connor...
Games! Down the inside of Yildirim, they make side-by-side contact, and now Cookie Games is trying to get on the act as well. The Slovenian, former Division 2 champion, now on the back of the German in his first race of reserve. I think they're going to stay they're going to stay in single file, running down and towards Timur. But my goodness me, the action has kicked off. Lap 20 out of 27. Montana leads. Connor in second, 1.5 seconds in behind. Zhao Zhao in third. Connor not entirely out of this for the race sprint, but I think Montana might just have too much of a gap.
Yeah, well, you'd expect him to pull it back down, and still only 4 laps on the tyres. Certainly the battle lines have been drawn here between the pair of the NSX drivers. We thought coming into the season they'd be championship rivals. It hasn't really turned out that way so far in this season, but this could be the changing point for Connor. His teammate didn't manage to make the race today. Alphatrix did not manage to make it into the race in time, and this could be the advantage that he needed, but he's not making too much time up on Montana, who's really been allowed to sail away from the really just the entire train. I think he's got a lot more pace, does Montana, than the rest of the hard runners.
He does indeed, and yeah, Connor, 1.3 seconds. There will be a point towards the end of this race where these mediums will begin to go off and the hards will come into play. Verstappen right on the back of Rocco for 7th position out on track. What an insane race this has been. Verstappen now switches to the inside line. He's got a tremendous run, and Rocco tries to go down the inside and towards turn 14. Rocco forced out wide. Verstappen on the outside line now. Rocco on the inside line. He hangs on. Campbell tries to go for the move down the inside as well, but Verstappen now right on the back of Rocco. Is he going to try and use up the last remains of his overtake mode to try and get this move done? Down and towards turn 1. I don't think so. He's going to play it safe, and Rocco remains in P7. Verstappen in P8, but my goodness me, the action really hotting up. Connor has absolutely blitzed away from Zhao Zhao, by the way. 1.4 seconds. Zhao Zhao might have picked up a little bit of damage, possibly. He's just really struggling with his tyres, I think, more than anything out on track. But D. Daniel in 4th, right on the back of him. Justas in 5th. Rocco and 6th. M Short is right on the back as well. So Rocco and M Short's going to be the next battle to focus on, I think, running down the Mistral straight, as now the McLaren is under sustained pressure from the Haas, and now the Verstappen in behind and the Renault will try and gain, but nobody, I don't think, is going to try and gain. As Daniel right on the back of Zhao Zhao, but Montana still leads. Connor in 2nd. Connor's only gaining a couple of tenths though per sector.
I'll tell you what though, by the time they get around, probably by the Mistral straight, next lap by on lap 22, I'd say Connor might have DRS.
I'll tell you what,
on Montana.
D. Daniel's trying to go around the outside line of Zhao Zhao. Zhao Zhao's on the inside line. Justas is getting involved as well. D. Daniel hangs on into P4. Zhao Zhao hangs on P3 as well. But Zhao Zhao now coming under a bit of sustained pressure from D. Daniel and Justas in behind. M Short, Rocco, Verstappen, Campbell, Yildirim, Cookie Games. Vaporizer joined onto the back as well, as Cookie Games has actually made a mistake coming out of turn 12, and Vaporizer is through and he's into 11. We just caught the remains of that. Justas and D. Daniel now going side by side running down the track. I think Justas trying to go for the move down into the final corner. Didn't get the move done, but now D. Daniel is surely going to have the run down in towards turn 1 on Amen. Yeah, D. Daniel still hangs on for 4th. We've got 6 laps to go. Montana leads the way. Connor in 2nd, Zhao Zhao in 3rd, but honestly, it could go any way.
I think going for the move at the last corner there probably wasn't the smartest decision, because he pretty much completely screwed over his exit, and it probably could have been a move that he would have attempted in towards turn 1, but he could still be going for the opportunity here.
Thought I was M Short nearly losing it coming out. There's now Verstappen right on the back of Rocco. Goodness me. Yeah, I'll let you carry on because I don't think we're going to see any moves.
Yeah, well, I was going to talk about a move that could have been playing up, but unfortunately didn't make it. Nothing came into fruition. Seemingly now the medium tyres have probably gone past their perfect. Really, I'm losing track of my words here. They've lost their crazy advantage that they had earlier on to the hard runners. So I think they're probably on equal pace at the moment. It's just going to be who is the faster driver rather than the tyre situation, and this is what really we needed in this Grand Prix. But still, we're not seeing too many moves like we did earlier on. As Connor, he's so close to dipping into DRS, and that Racing Point car looking like it's getting bigger every time.
Oh, Rocco and
Rocco
Verstappen
have made a move, and it seems like Rocco made the position on Verstappen there.
No, Verstappen trying to dive it down the inside, I think, and Rocco is through, and Verstappen not happy, obviously, with Rocco there. Rocco's through and he's into 7th, Verstappen down in 8th now. Not sure what happened there, but Verstappen very unhappy, I think, with Rocco's driving there. By the way, I just thought I'd mention, my prediction is currently on. Montana, Connor and Jojo for 2nd and 3rd. Come on, Jojo.
You're on fire tonight. You've been right about everything.
Oh, no. He ran out wide, but he has gained time, luckily. Jojo in 3rd. I'm now going to be biased towards Jojo for the rest of this race, just solely so my prediction can come into fruition. Daniel though on the back, and to be honest, we've got to take commentary first and bias second. Jojo in 3rd, Daniel in 4th, as now Yulbreen right on the back of Campbell, coming through the Mistral straight, and now through the chicane node once again. Montana leads, Connor in 2nd, Jojo in 3rd. Honestly, I think we've got the calm before the storm, and this could be the storm, as now Daniel right on the back of Jojo. Is he going to try and lunge it down the inside line? No, Jojo defends. Justas right on the back as well. Verstappen right on the back of Rocco, just in behind. Still got the calm before the storm, but I tell you what, these final 2 laps, desperation is going to kick in, and we could see maybe a bit of aggressive driving towards the end of this race.
You've got to think about also how closed up the pack is at the moment, and a penalty going towards Justus. He's in a bad position here. He might actually lose out on points. Actually, he wouldn't lose out on points because this is a train stemming towards a 10th position. But he is going to lose a handful of positions in this one, and he probably wants to get a move on and try and step up the gap just ever so slightly to some of the other drivers. We've got a yellow flag, and that is
Kumbly.
He's off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ferrari not having a good day today, and they're running in 14th and 15th. As we'll see coming straight away once again here. Is anyone going to try for a move? It seems like Jojo's a lot quicker than Daniel coming through the first sector, and he's not able to get close enough to mount a challenge down the straight.
Yeah, nobody I don't think is close enough to try and mount a challenge down the straight, except from Kooky Games right on the back of Vaporizer. Could try and get the move done down in towards turn 8. I don't think he's going to be close, so Vaporizer absolutely sends it in towards turn 8. Now coming out of turn 9 and then running up the hill and towards turn 10. Vaporizer, my God almighty, nearly lost it. Now Kooky Games has got a tremendous chance to try and get him the move done. Slovenian against the Dutchman on the inside line. They give each other room, they're hardly inches apart, and Vaporizer has somehow held that, but for how long? Kooky Games slides onto the curb. He's just about kept the car going. He slid onto the curb. It's a good recovery in the end from Kooky Games. Verstappen's right on the back of Rocco in front, but Vaporizer hangs on for 11th. I think he was going to hold the position anyways. Kooky Games just got caught on the curb. He had a bit of a slide going on through the corner. Verstappen is still on the back of Rocco. Rocco really trying to fight hard. These guys are going to be so careful because this is going to be a massive Constantine effect towards the end of the race. 3 laps to go. Montana leads, Connor in 2nd, Jojo in 3rd, and Jojo hanging on for grim life. But I'll tell you what, 3rd position could go to pretty much anyone at this point.
Yeah, it's really topsy-turvy race in this one. To quote James Allen coming through turn number 10, you could have put a cigarette paper in between those tyres. I hope it was James Allen that said that one, because then I'd look quite silly if it wasn't. Was it?
No, it certainly wasn't me. That's what I'm saying. James Allen,
not James Head. James Head's a way better commentator.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. Here comes D. Daniel on the back of Jojo. Jojo defends to the inside line. D. Daniel's on the outside line, though, and he's going to try and clean sell him. Jojo gets the elbows out, though, and he hangs on for P3. Now, Justas is right on the back. M Short not too far off the pace either, but Justas now on the back of D. Daniel. D. Daniel's going to have one more crack running up the hill in towards turn 10, probably before turn 1, but Jojo leading in third position. D. Daniel in fourth. M Short is side by side and is down the inside of Justas and gets the move done. Justas switches back. Switch back to perfection once again from Justas. M Short's now on the inside line. It's kicking off big time for Verstappen and Rocco. Nearly side by side. M Short and Justas are still side by side. The Lithuanian against the Brit. There are no drawn quarters. Connor's catching Montana for the lead as well. So we could see a battle for the lead onto the final 2 laps of the race. Montana leads. Connor in second. Jojo in third. D. Daniel in fourth. M Short in fifth. Has got the move done on Justas, but at what cost? Because now Justas is now out of the slipstream. Vaporizer makes a slight mistake in the background. Kuka Games now through. Justas now still on the back of M Short. Tries to look to the inside line. Not quite close enough. If this isn't racing, then I don't know what is.
I think from all we've seen this season, as here's Verstappen trying to go for the move, and Rocco might be trying for the send into turn number 3. Verstappen's trying to go around the outside. He's not been able to pull that one off. But well, I think if this isn't a candidate for race of the season, I don't know what is. As Montana, he's got 5 tenths between himself and Connor. We could have a race on the final lap for the lead of the Grand Prix. I don't believe this. This
is going to be insane. Kuka Games has gone past Yulbream as well. Further down the field, he's up into 10th position. One of Kuka Games' best showing so far in League of Europe, certainly this season. Yulbream now 11th. Vaporizer made a mistake, and Vaporizer is actually round, coming through, and he's lost out the points. Neil now 12th. Vaporizer 13th. He went into the back, I think, maybe overcommitted. D. Daniel now and Jojo still nearly side by side. They are going to be side by side, possibly going in towards turn 10, now through turn 11. But Montana leading the way. Connor in second. Connor is now right on the back for Montana for the lead of the race. I don't know where to turn as we go on to the final lap. Kumblai, I think, set the new fastest lap of the race as well, so he might get an extra point coming his way. Montana, though, leading the way onto the final lap of the race. Get prepared to be on the edge of your seat because, goodness knows, we don't know what's going to happen.
Lap 27 of 27 has begun here. Now coming through turn number 1, you can see how much more confident he is on the brakes is Connor in comparison to Montana. They've both got similar levels of ERS to utilise on the straightaway in towards the chicane. Coming through turn number 4 here, Connor's losing out a little bit of time through the first sector. Even if these guys just make a slight error, they could get a penalty. But now, coming out and towards turn number 7,
Montana has it.
Connor's had a really bad run, actually, here, and Montana's used up a lot more overtake coming down the straightaway. I think Montana might have just maintained the position for the straightaway here. Coming into the braking zone, he's not been able to take it.
I think Connor's setting them up down in towards turn 10 possibly here. He's got a lot of overtake mode used up. Montana's going to come back because he's used up that overtake mode, and now Connor is going to have a go running up the hill in towards turn 10. This is exactly planned from Connor. Now he looks through the inside line through turn 10. He's going to be on the outside. He's not going to career around the outside of Montana, is he? He's going to try and switch it back though. Montana's still on the inside line. Connor tries to force his way through, and that was desperation at its finest. Connor has spun. Montana holds on to the lead of the race. To be honest, very short of room for Montana. Connor, I don't think, was going to get the move done anyways. Jojo's going to be third. D. Daniel's going to be fourth. That settles the race, I'm afraid. And Montana coming around the final couple of corners out on track. Desperation set in for Connor, but Montana, we can't take anything away. The Swiss man is going to make it 2 in a row. Sorry, not 2 in a row. 2 wins of the season, and Montana has won in France. Connor comes across the line to finish in second. He'll be disappointed with that result. Jojo in third. D. Daniel in fourth. There's a massive crash coming across the line. M Short fifth, Rocco sixth, Verstappen in seventh, Campbell in eighth. D. Daniels only outscored M Short by 2 points out on track as well, so that's massive for the championship. Name changer across the line to finish in 13th. Vaporizer from Kumblai got across the line in 14th to 15th. But my god, what a race. Montana in the end comes out on top. Connor, was a bit of desperation from him through turn 11?
I think desperation did settle in at the end. He wanted that Cinderella fairy tale story where he made it on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, just wasn't meant to be for him, and it is. I think maybe it would get sent to the stewards just to see what he can do with it. He needs a 5-second time penalty if he wants to take the win of the Grand Prix. But yeah, really close battles between the pair of them. I don't think the penalty would get put in just because it is the final lap of the race, and you could have some leniency towards it, I suppose. So they've got maybe the stewards will be quite busy by the end of it, but rounding out the French Grand Prix race of the season by far for me.
Oh, what a race. Montana wins. Driver of the day, awarded by the in-game fans, is Rocco, but Montana wins. Just to come on to that incident once again, Montana, I think, was about half the car ahead, so I don't think Connor was going to fit through that gap anyways. And he says, listen up, I'm coming. Montana takes the win here in France, out on track. A phenomenal win, and it's his second win of the season. Now puts him right back in the title mix.
Yeah, I've just seen in the Discord chat, Montana celebrations, wee baguette, in all caps.
That means yes, baguette. That's what we can translate that to.
I think that's probably just the extent of what his French is, but a brilliant win to take his second of the season. Your podium. Your prediction came correct.
I hope now, stewards, if you're listening, please don't give any of the top 3 penalties, please. Montana out on top, Connor in second, Jaja in third, Daniel in fourth, M Short in fifth, Rocco in sixth. To be honest, the top 9 are separated by 10 seconds at the end. Verstappen in seventh, Campbell in eighth, Justas in ninth, Kuka Games in 10th, Yulbream 11th, with Neo in 12th, Name Changer 13th. How's he finished 20 seconds off the back? I do not know. Vaporizer in 14th, Kumblai in 15th with the fastest lap of the race. Bullet Boy, Hardy and Lando, both Mercedes and AlphaTauri, DNFing out of the race. And Montana takes it, Connor in second, Zhao Zhao in third. And my goodness me, what a battle out on track. Zhao Zhao, by the way, saying, I thought he was on a wet setup, but he has confirmed he wasn't on a wet setup, so nobody, I don't think, was running out on track for a wet setup. My God, let's just take a breath and let's just gather our thoughts from that race in Division 1. Race of the season.
Hands down, that is the race of the season, and I don't think it. I'm not sure if it will be topped at all by any race coming into the rest of the season. So we just gotta sink it in as we've experienced it. That was just probably the best Grand Prix I might have experienced in League of Europe. I'm trying to think of a better Grand Prix. I remember USA was really good last time. There's too many options to pick from. But, yeah, it's got to be at least top 5 for me.
Got to be top 5, and to be honest, there's got to be more action to come. Of course, Division 2 and Division 5 are going to be live. Daniel Hoggard is back. Going to be taking you through the action for Division 2. Division 5, Aiden Carter's going to be joining Daniel Hoggard, I should say, in Division 2. He's not doing Division 5. Division 5, I believe, is old Maverick, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. But what a race that was here in Division 1. We better end up quick, because the rugby's going to be starting any second now. Wales possibly going for the Grand Slam. But I'll come to you, Daniel, for your final thoughts of this race and for your driver of the day.
Oh, I've got to give my driver of the day. There's a lot of options to have picked from, but I think one of them's got to be Connor. I'd say another one, Zhao Zhao, for he defended that really, really well to D. Daniel, who was pressurising him the entire way through. So if you can hear in the background, my fire alarm's going off, so I'll mute myself in a second. I think we're having a something on the grill tonight, so yeah, that's probably why it's going off.
Well, let's just say the action out on track was lit, and let's hope Dan's what is not going to be lit. Yeah, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. But let's hope the grill is very nice. I hope the food is very nice. Hopefully the fire alarm will go off in the background. I think it has now. I can't hear it anymore, which is good.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Goodness me. But what a fantastic race though out on track. My drive of the day, to be honest, I think go to Montana, Zhao Zhao and Connor. Simple as that. Top 3 prediction. Yeah, why not? Oh my God. As I say, Division 2 and Division 5 coming up with you in about 10 minutes time. And then on Monday night, it is the return of a certain League of Europe Formula 2. And guess who's going to be commentating on the action? Yours truly.
Oh.
Yours truly will be doing it on Division 1. Not sure who's doing Division 2, actually. I'm not sure if we've got a commentator for Division 2. But I'm definitely Division 1. So I'll be focusing on the action for Division 1. And we go First round of the championship, I'll just get the calendar up for you guys. Brazil is first round, and then it's Britain. So not bad at all, and hopefully you can tune in for that. Thank you, though, for tuning in tonight. I've been James Head. He's been Daniel Field. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please stay safe in this crazy world that we all live in. My God, what a race that was. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.